Hey everyone, welcome back to English in Real Life. I'm Ray.
And I'm Mia. Hey, Ray, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thanks. You know what? I'm actually really excited about today's conversation.
Oh, yeah? Why's that?
Well, I just got back from visiting my family in California last week, and the whole airport experience reminded me how important it is to feel confident speaking English when you travel.
Oh, man, airports. That's such a perfect topic for today. I actually love airports, but I know they can be super stressful, especially if English isn't your first language.
Exactly. So today we're going to have a really natural conversation about English at the airport. We'll share some stories, teach you useful phrases, and hopefully make you feel more confident about traveling.
And we're going to keep it simple and real, just like always.
Before we start, how was your weekend, Mia?
It was good, pretty relaxing. I went to the farmer's market on Saturday, made some pasta from scratch on Sunday. I'm getting really into cooking lately.
Nice. Pasta from scratch? That's impressive.
Well, it was my second try. The first time was, let's just say it was interesting.
Hey, practice makes perfect, right?
Exactly, just like learning English. So tell me about your trip to California. How was the airport?
You know, it was actually pretty smooth. But here's the thing. I've been flying my whole life, so I know all the words, all the procedures. But I was watching people around me, and I could see some travelers looking really nervous and confused.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. And it made me think, if you're learning English, the airport can be one of the most intimidating places.
Absolutely, because it's not just about knowing English, it's about knowing the specific words and phrases they use at airports.
Right, and everything happens so fast. You have to check in, go through security, find your gate, and everyone is speaking quickly.
So let's break it down. Let's start from the beginning. When you first arrive at the airport, what's the first thing you usually do?
Well, if you're flying, the first thing is check-in. You need to check in your luggage.
Exactly, and this is where the conversation usually starts. So let me ask you, have you ever had a funny or interesting experience at check-in?
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so this was maybe 3 years ago. I was flying to New York and I got to the check-in counter and the agent asked me, "Did you pack your bags yourself?"
That's a standard question, yeah.
Right, but for some reason that day I was so tired and I said, "No, my mom packed them." And the agent just looked at me with this really serious face.
Oh no.
I'm a grown woman, Ray. Why did I say my mom packed my bags? The agent didn't know what to say.
That's hilarious. So what happened?
Well, I quickly realized what I said, and I was like, wait, I'm sorry, I'm just tired. Yes, I packed my own bags. And we both just started laughing.
That's great. But see, this is a perfect example of a common airport question. Did you pack your bags yourself?
Yes, and they ask this for security reasons. They want to make sure nobody puts something dangerous in your bag.
Right. So if someone asks you this question, the answer is simple. Yes, I packed them myself.
Exactly. Keep it simple and honest.
What are some other questions they ask at check-in?
Let me think. Oh, they usually ask, how many bags are you checking?
Yes, and this is important vocabulary. Checking a bag means you're giving your bag to the airline and they'll put it on the plane for you.
And you'll pick it up at baggage claim when you land.
Exactly. So you might say, I'm checking one bag, or I'm checking two bags.
And if you're only traveling with a small bag that you can carry on the plane, you can say, I'm not checking any bags, I just have a carry-on.
Perfect. A carry-on is a small bag that you keep with you on the plane.
Right, and here's a useful tip. Airlines usually have size restrictions for carry-on bags, so if your bag is too big, they might say, I'm sorry, but you'll need to check that bag.
Yeah, that happened to me once. I had a bag that was just a little too big and they made me check it.
What did you say?
I just said, okay, no problem. How much does it cost? Because sometimes you have to pay extra.
Good question to ask. Okay, so let's say you've checked in, you have your boarding pass. What's next?
Next is security, and oh man, security can be stressful.
I know, even for native English speakers, there's always that moment where you're like, did I forget to take something out of my bag?
Exactly. So let's talk about security. What do they usually tell you to do?
Okay, so first, you have to take out your laptop and put it in a separate bin.
Right. They might say, please remove your laptop from your bag.
Remove just means take out.
Yes. And they might also say, please take off your shoes, belt, and jacket.
This is so important. In the US, you usually have to take off your shoes when you go through security.
Yeah, I remember when I first traveled to Europe, I was so surprised that you could keep your shoes on.
I know. Every country is a little different, but in the US, shoes off, belt off, jacket off.
And then you put everything in the bins, those plastic containers, and they go through the x-ray machine.
Yes, and then you walk through the metal detector.
Or sometimes the body scanner. They might say, please step into the scanner, or please walk through the metal detector.
And if you have metal in your pockets, the alarm will beep.
It happens to everyone. I always forget I have coins in my pocket.
Me too. And then the TSA agent, that's the security person, they might say, do you have anything in your pockets?
And you just say, oh, sorry, yes, I have some coins, or I have my phone.
Exactly. Just be honest and polite. They're just doing their job.
Right. Okay, so you've gone through security, you've collected all of your belongings.
Your belongings, that's another word for your things, your stuff.
Yes, good point. So you collect your things, and now you need to find your gate.
The gate, this is where your plane will leave from. Every flight has a gate number.
Right. So you look at your boarding pass, and it says something like Gate B12 or Gate A5.
And then you follow the signs to find your gate. The signs usually say gates A to A20 with an arrow, or gates B to B30 with an arrow.
Exactly. And if you can't find your gate, don't be afraid to ask someone. You can say, excuse me, where is gate B12? Or can you help me find gate A5?
People are usually really helpful at airports. Don't be shy.
Absolutely. So, Ray, have you ever almost missed a flight? Actually, it was that same trip to California I just mentioned.
What happened?
Okay, so I got to the airport with plenty of time, but the security line was so long.
Oh no.
Yeah, I waited in line for almost 45 minutes, and by the time I got through security, I only had about 15 minutes before my flight.
That's cutting it close.
I know, so I'm running through the airport looking for my gate, and of course, it was at the very end of the terminal.
It's always at the far end, isn't it?
Always. So I'm running, and I get to the gate, and I'm out of breath. And the gate agent looks at me and says, "Are you on flight 237 to Los Angeles?"
What did you say?
I just nodded and said, "Yes, that's me."
And did you make it?
Yes, just barely. They were literally about to close the door. The agent said, "You're our last passenger. We've been waiting for you."
Oh man, that must have been stressful.
It was, but it taught me a good lesson. Always give yourself extra time at the airport.
That's such good advice. You never know what might slow you down.
Exactly. So let's talk about some useful phrases at the gate area.
Okay, so when you're waiting at your gate, you'll hear announcements. They might say, "We are now boarding flight 237 to Los Angeles."
Boarding means getting on the plane. So when they start boarding, that means it's time to get on the plane.
But they usually don't board everyone at once. They board in groups.
Right. They might say, "We are now boarding group 1," or "We are now boarding passengers in rows 25 through 35.
And your boarding pass will tell you what group you're in. It might say Group 3 or Zone 2.
Exactly. So you wait until they call your group, and then you get in line. And when you get to the gate, the agent will scan your boarding pass. They might say, "Boarding pass, please."
And you just hand them your boarding pass or show them the electronic version on your phone, and they'll scan it.
Then they might say, "You're in seat 40A. Have a nice flight." And you say, "Thank you."
See? It's not so complicated when you know what to expect.
Not at all. Now, let's talk about what happens on the plane.
Okay, so you walk onto the plane and you find your seat. The seats are labeled with letters and numbers.
Right, like 14A, 14B, 14C. The number is the row, and the letter is the seat in that row.
And A is usually the window seat, C or F is usually the aisle seat, and B or E is the middle seat.
Nobody likes the middle seat.
I know, everyone wants the window or the aisle.
So when you're finding your seat, you might need to ask someone, "Excuse me, is this seat 14A?"
Or if someone is sitting in your seat by mistake, you can politely say, "Excuse me, I think you might be in my seat. I have 14A.
Yes, always be polite. Sometimes people just make an honest mistake.
Absolutely. Okay, so you're in your seat. What happens next?
Well, the flight attendants will come by and help people. A flight attendant is the person who works on the plane and takes care of the passengers.
Right, and they're usually really friendly and helpful.
They might help you put your bag in the overhead compartment. That's the storage space above your seat.
Yes, if your carry-on bag is too heavy, you can ask the flight attendant, "Can you help me with my bag, please?"
And they'll help you, no problem. Then, before the plane takes off, they'll do the safety demonstration.
Oh yes, they show you where the emergency exits are, how to use the seatbelt, and what to do in an emergency.
And they always say, please turn off all electronic devices, or please put your phone in airplane mode.
Airplane mode means your phone won't make calls or use the internet, but you can still use it for things like reading or listening to music.
Exactly. And then they'll say, please make sure your seat is in the upright position and your tray table is locked.
The tray table is that little table that folds down from the seat in front of you. You use it for eating or putting your drink on.
Right. And during takeoff and landing, it has to be put away.
Okay, so the plane takes off, you're in the air. What happens during the flight?
Well, on longer flights, the flight attendants will come around with drinks and snacks, or sometimes a full meal.
Yeah, they might ask, "Would you like something to drink?" And you can say, "Yes, please. Can I have water?" Or "Can I have orange juice?"
Or, can I have coffee, please?
And they might ask, "Would you like ice with that?" Or "Would you like cream and sugar?"
So you just answer, yes, please, or no, thank you.
Easy. Oh, and here's a useful phrase. If you need to use the bathroom, you can ask the flight attendant, "Excuse me, is it okay to use the restroom now?"
Restroom is just another word for bathroom.
Yes, and sometimes during turbulence, when the plane is shaking because of bad weather, they'll turn on the seatbelt sign. That means you have to stay in your seat.
Right. If the seatbelt sign is on, you can't get up and walk around.
But if it's off, you're free to move around the cabin. Cabin means the inside of the plane.
Good explanation. Okay, so let's say the flight is almost over. What happens when you land?
Well, the flight attendant will announce, "We're beginning our descent into," and then they'll say the city name.
Descent means going down, so the plane is going down to land.
And they'll say, "Please make sure your seatbelt is fastened and your seat is in the upright position."
Same as takeoff.
Exactly. And then the plane lands. But here's the thing, don't jump up immediately.
Yes, everyone always jumps up as soon as the plane stops moving.
I know, but you have to wait until the seatbelt sign is turned off.
Right, and then you can stand up, get your bag from the overhead compartment, and wait to exit the plane.
The flight attendants will usually say, "Thank you for flying with us, enjoy your stay in," and then the city name.
And you can say, thank you, or have a nice day as you leave.
Always be polite. So you get off the plane, now what?
Now you need to go to baggage claim if you check the bag. That's where you pick up your luggage.
Right, you follow the signs that say baggage claim, and there will be a screen that shows which carousel your luggage will be on.
A carousel is that rotating belt where the bags come out.
Yes, so you find your carousel, wait for your bag to come out, and grab it. And here's a tip, make sure it's actually your bag. A lot of suitcases look the same.
That's true. I always put a colorful ribbon or tag on my suitcase so I can recognize it.
That's smart. Okay, so you have your bag. If you're arriving in a different country, you might need to go through customs.
Right. Customs is where they check what you're bringing into the country.
The customs officer might ask, "What's the purpose of your visit?"
And you can say, I'm here for tourism, or I'm here for business, or I'm visiting family.
They might also ask, "How long will you be staying?"
And you answer, I'll be here for 1 week, or I'm staying for 5 days.
And sometimes they ask, "Do you have anything to declare?"
Declare means to officially tell them about something, like if you're bringing in a lot of money or certain items.
Most of the time, you can just say, "No, nothing to declare."
Exactly. And then they'll let you through, and you're done.
You made it! See, it's really not that scary when you know what to expect.
Not at all. Now, you know what I think is the most important thing?
What's that?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. Everyone at the airport, the check-in agents, the TSA officers, the flight attendants, they're all there to help you.
Absolutely. If you're confused or lost, just ask someone. You can say, "Excuse me, can you help me?" Or, "I'm sorry, I don't understand. Can you explain?"
Yes, and most people will be patient and helpful, especially if they can tell you're still learning English.
Right. And here's another tip. It's okay to speak slowly and carefully.
Definitely. It's better to speak slowly and clearly than to rush and make mistakes.
Exactly. And if someone speaks too fast and you don't understand, you can say, "I'm sorry, can you repeat that?" Or, "Can you speak more slowly, please?"
Those are such useful phrases. Don't be embarrassed to use them.
Not at all. Communication is a two-way street. Both people need to understand each other.
You know, I think airports are actually a great place to practice English.
Oh, interesting. Why do you say that?
Well, think about it. You hear the same phrases over and over again. Boarding pass, please? Anything to drink? Seatbelt fastened?
That's true. It's very repetitive, which actually makes it easier to learn.
Exactly. Once you know the common phrases, you'll feel so much more confident.
Yeah, and you know what else? People at airports are from all over the world. Everyone is traveling, everyone is a little stressed, so people are generally understanding if you're not a native English speaker.
That's a great point. The airport is such an international environment. Right, so let's do a quick review of some key phrases we talked about today.
Good idea. Okay, at check-in, you might hear, "Did you pack your bags yourself?"
How many bags are you checking?
At security, "Please remove your laptop."
Please take off your shoes.
At the gate, "We are now boarding flight 237.
Boarding pass, please?
On the plane, "Would you like something to drink?"
Please make sure your seatbelt is fastened.
At baggage claim, "Carousel 5 for flight 237.
And at customs, what's the purpose of your visit?
Perfect. Those are some of the most common things you'll hear.
And remember, you don't need to have perfect English to travel. You just need to know these basic phrases and be confident.
Confidence is key. Even if you make a mistake, it's okay. Everyone makes mistakes.
Absolutely. You know, Mia, I'm really glad we talked about this today.
Me too. I hope this conversation helps people feel less nervous about traveling and speaking English.
I think it will. And honestly, the best way to learn is by doing it. Take that trip, go to the airport, practice your English.
Yes, don't let fear hold you back. Traveling is one of the most amazing experiences, and English is the international language of travel.
Exactly. And remember, every time you speak English, even at the airport, you're improving.
Every conversation is practice. Every interaction makes you better.
So be brave, be polite, and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
I love that. Be brave, be polite, and learn from every experience.
Perfect summary. Okay, so before we finish, do you have any final tips for our viewers?
Let me think. Oh, yes. Write down important phrases before your trip. Keep them in your phone or on a piece of paper.
That's brilliant, like a little cheat sheet.
Exactly. Just simple things like, "Where is gate B12?" or "Can you help me?" Having them written down can make you feel more confident.
I love that. And my tip would be arrive early. Give yourself extra time so you don't feel rushed and stressed.
Yes, when you're rushed, it's harder to think clearly and speak English, but when you have time, you can relax and communicate better.
Exactly. Okay, Mia, I think we covered a lot today.
We really did. From check-in to baggage claim, we talked about everything.
And I hope everyone watching feels more prepared and confident now.
Me too. Remember, you've got this. You can do it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for this conversation, Mia.
Thank you, Ray. This was fun.
And thank you to everyone watching English in Real Life. We hope this helps you on your English learning journey.
If you found this useful, please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
And leave a comment below. Tell us, have you ever traveled using English? What was your experience?
We'd love to hear your stories.
All right, until next time,
Keep learning, keep practicing, and keep speaking English in real life.
see you next time.
Bye, everyone.